Okay, so here in video 2, we're going to take a look at our specs real fast to make sure we're staying within our constraints. And we can see here the body height with the wheels is a max of 90 millimeters. So coming back over here to our dragster design, I want to make sure that my wheel, from the back wheel here to the top of my car, is within 90. I'm going to turn on my ortho mode and my object snap, and I'm going to draw a line straight up here, and let's see, I might be pretty close here. But 90, yep, I am within the constraint. You can see the top of my car here, and I can draw a line straight across if I wanted to. This would be my, and I'll extend this on the other way here. This would be my max top of my car right there. That's something you might want to add in from the beginning if you did not add that in already. And we'll put that on my hidden line layer. Cool, just like that, and I'm actually going to delete this one for now. And that one too. Cool. Okay, so now let's focus on drawing out our cartridge area here. A couple things with the cartridge area. If we look at our specs, we can see that the material surrounding the cartridge needs to be at least 5 mil. That means you need to have at least 5 mil going around that cartridge. You can also see the lowest point is 26 to 40 from the race surface. If you want to measure that out, you can. And that just allows us to line it up when we want to actually puncture the cartridge. And then we look here. So let's take a look at AutoCAD, and we'll take a look at my cartridge here. And the space for the cartridge that you're going to need here is a length of 58, and then a height. I'll just draw a line so we can see this here. That line right there is a height of 19. So I'm going to start here. I'm just going to pick a general spot on the back of here. So I'm going to turn on my nearest snap real fast. And I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to draw it just in my dragster shape. And I'm going to draw it right about here, going out. And this one's going to be 58. And then I'm going to offset this half of 19. Half of 19, do some quick math, is 8.5. Nope, sorry, half of 19 is 9.5. Yes. So offset 9.5. And coming up and coming back down. So my cartridge is going to be fitting in the center there. And then I'm going to draw another little line here, going straight up for right now. And then if we look over here, this little gap that I have, that gap allows me to slide in my separate piece that I need to, so I get my three-dimensional look on my cartridge. Is this piece here. It's going to slide into this gap right there. To do that, there's lots of ways to do all this here, but I'll show you how I'm going to do mine. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to offset this by, we're going to keep this pretty small this time, so 15. And we'll see if I have enough room there. I barely do, so I'm going to make it a little, I'm going to actually just move my front of my car a tiny bit here so I can stretch this design out kind of like that and bring this down like that. There we go. That looks good. So 15, and then I want to draw a line here in the center. Boom, boom. And I'll offset this by 2.5 because the thickness of all the wood that we're working with is going to be 2.5, and I'm going to go up there. Cool, and I can delete that center piece. And then I'm going to trim this out right there, and I'm going to trim that out right there, and this piece out right here. A couple other things you want to pay attention to. We definitely want to have a back bracket piece. So this piece actually slides onto these little end caps right here. Those little pieces right there. And to do that, I am going to add on here. So we'll add on a little, I'm actually going to subtract from the car a bit. I think it'll work a little bit better. So again, I'm going to offset and draw a line here in the back, like so. I'm going to offset that line by 5 going in, and then I'll extend it up here like that. I'm going to offset this line by 5, going up. And then I'm going to trim this out. So I don't need this anymore, don't need this, don't need this, don't need that. Oh, and one more piece I don't want. Let's make sure, yes, that piece there, because this is where the cap is going to slide on right there. And I want to do the same idea back here. And I'm actually going to take a spline tool real fast here, and I'm going to draw this area out. So let's turn off my snaps, and there, and let's do something kind of like that. Ooh, getting crazy. And then I can move this around too if I want to. Move this down here. I just want a little curve there on the back coming up, a little flare. There we go. That looks good. And then I'm going to trim that out too. Trim, trim. That looks good. And then I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to do the same thing I just did on the top. I need to turn on my snaps. Control Z. And snaps back on. Boom. And I want to go there. And offset by 5. Boom. Okay, I want to offset by 5 again. I'm going to do the same thing I just did here. So TR for trim. And I want to trim, double check what I want to trim out here. I got to think about it for a second. We don't need this. Let's get rid of that, this. I don't want, I do want that piece, do want that. And then I just got to think about where it's sliding on. So I actually want to bring this in a bit. So this needs to be offset by 5. And then extend this down. And then trim that out too. Boom, boom. We can go like that. That's fine for now. And then I don't need this piece right here too. Cool. All right, so this is where my cartridge now is going to be sliding in. I'm going to have a little cylinder that I'm going to have to build out too. That's going to snap on the back here. All right, this is going to be end of video 2. This should get you a good start on this project here. And there's lots of ways to do this, but just again, remember that if we're looking at my example that's on Canvas, and there's this one example that all of you can see here. So this example, you need to have all these separate pieces created, and we're going to be laser cutting them and gluing them together. And we're using 5mm balsa wood, 5mm balsa wood for the entire construction. And we're using glue this time too, so it doesn't need to fit together like a joint. It'll just fit together and then glue it together with a little bit of wood glue. Sweet. All right, end of video 2.